Black Americans not getting deported? Latinos want to know. Cubans want to know. Hispanics want to know. Asians want to know. Jamaicans want to know. Africans want to know. Mexicans, they want to know. Why are Black Americans not getting deported? What is so special about Black Americans? Why is it that even when we need them, they are not coming out for us? Who do they think they are? That is a lot of question that has been trending as Latinos deportations hit harder and harder. And you know the beautiful part of every single thing is the fact that the person they literally voted for, the person they advocated for, the person they stood for, the person they saying, I will vote. But Donald Trump is the same person that is telling them, it is time. Your time is up. You've stayed in this country long enough. It is time for you to pack and go. And that is so beautiful to watch. Anyways, let's watch the fatful moment of Latinos deportation. Credit belongs to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. For disclaimers, this is just for educational purpose only, not to come here, ruffle on anyone's shoulder and make you feel uncomfortable. And yes, with that being said, let's dive right into this video. I'll be back with commentaries. Let's go watch. I will vote.
Am I the only one that didn't know that apparently Latinos were like begging black people for support and help now that Donald Trump is trying to deport? I did not know this. I did not know this. I just learned in the comment section, man, in one of my videos, man. They said, yo, they was just asking us for help. Now they're blaming us for having DM men in their community. Like, what's going on over here? I was asking for help, man. So y'all know how to go down that rabbit hole. And apparently there's a whole bunch of Latinos, man, talking about black people. We need to unite. We need to come together. Trump is trying to get us out of here. It's us. Who the fuck is us? We legal. We ain't going nowhere. The worst thing we're gonna hear is somebody say go back to Africa, and we haven't heard that since the 90s. Listen, I can make fun of the situation, right? Because I don't got papers, right? The broski's an undocumented immigrant, but I've been dodging ICE since 1998 when we used to call it La Migra. And I'm out here in New York City, so I'm protected. Like the other day, they were closing in on me, right? They was about to arrest me, man. And 5 batshit crazy liberals, man, stopped walking their dogs and drinking their Starbucks, man. And they jumped at the ICE agents and said, "The broski, run, broski, run!" And man, I took off running, bro. I've been running ever since, bro. They did not catch me, man. So I could talk confidently out here in New York City because I know these liberals ain't gonna allow these ICE agents to arrest me. I'm like, that's our fucking immigrant. He ain't going nowhere. But he shot 2 cops. We don't give a fuck, man. Those were his cops to shoot.
If Black, Latino, and Asian communities stopped waiting to be included and started building together? Not as a slogan, not as a hashtag, but as an economic strategy. Every major shift in power in this country has followed the same rule. Whoever controls production or distribution and capital controls their future. And right now, our communities produce the labor, the culture, and the demand, but other people capture the value. That isn't an accident. That's a design flaw that we can change. The truth is, individually, our communities are told we're too small, we're too divided, or too risky to invest in. Together, that argument collapses. Combined, Black, Latino, and Asian communities represent tens of trillions in lifetime spending power, a dominant share of small business creation, the backbone of logistics, healthcare, construction, food, tech, and service labor, the future demographic majority of this country. Yet we still operate like isolated islands, competing for scraps, fighting over narratives, and shopping from corporations that don't even reinvest in our neighborhoods. That isn't diversity, that's fragmentation. When communities intentionally do business with each other, money stops leaking out as fast, jobs stabilize, businesses survive long enough to grow, and families build assets instead of just income. More importantly, power becomes structural instead of symbolic. You got city leaders that's gonna listen when you control the contracts. Banks, they negotiate when you move capital together. Media shifts tone when you are economically unavoidable. Politicians stop playing games when jobs and tax bases depend on you. This isn't about exclusion, it's about self-respect and self-preservation. They don't want to have this conversation because history shows that when marginalized groups cooperate economically, the rules suddenly change. New fears get manufactured, right? Communities get pitted against each other. Culture wars replace policy discussions. Division is cheaper than justice. Fragmentation is easier than reform. If we stay divided, nothing has to change. This isn't anti-anyone, it's pro-community. No one questions corporations when they buy from their own networks. No one asks why wealthy families invest together. No one shames other groups for protecting their economic interests. Only us. And that shame has a purpose. The question isn't, is it allowed? The question is, how long can we afford not to? Because every year that we delay, more businesses get closed, more wealth exits our communities, more young people inherit struggle instead of opportunity. Coordination doesn't require perfection. It requires commitment, discipline, and a trust built through action. If Black, Latino, and Asian communities chose cooperation over competition, not in theory, but in contracts, hiring, and capital, the economic map of this country would change faster than most people are ready for. That's why the idea feels threatening, and that's how you know it matters. This isn't about hate. This is about building something strong enough that hate stops working.
Yeah, you got a lot of people on here saying, black and browns, they need to unite and come together. Who's seen that fucking video? Who's seen that video? People are literally making videos saying black and brown, they need to unite. Where the fuck was you guys when our children was getting killed? Where the fuck was you guys when it was time to protest? I ain't seen one motherfucking Latino out there, my nigga. I ain't seen one motherfucking Mexican. Like I said yesterday, we as black people mind our fucking business. A lot of those people that's going through what they're going through is because they voted for the motherfucker, okay? I'm from up north. I'm from up north where blacks and Latino people thrive. But since I've been down south, it's been segregated. So you kind of got to get with the times here. And all I'm saying is the Latinos and the Mexicans that are down south, they're racist. They would rather be white than to be them fucking selves, okay? Black people, stay out of this one. I'm gonna say it again. My black people, stay out of this one. I am not up for answering any motherfucking questions. Okay, I gotta get on about my day, go make some money on. I ain't trying to answer no motherfucking questions. You leave them in the motherfucking comment section. And I said what I said. And if you don't think what I said was the right thing to say, don't watch my shit. Good day. Black people, mind your fucking business, man.
Post going around from people from Spanish backgrounds asking for the black and the brown to unite to help fight these massive ICE raids that are taking place across our country. And so initially, when I heard it, I got mad, just being transparent, because I'm like, the Nation of Islam has been clamoring for the black and brown to unite for decades. And the brown, for the most part, has wanted nothing to do with us. Black people love Mexican people. We love brown people. We have supported Mexican culture profusely. This is not even, some of this may be like humorous, but that's not the point. Like, we drink lots of tequila. We love tacos. And I'm not talking about Taco Bell. We go to Mexican-owned small businesses and spend our hard-earned money. For decades, we've done this. We have always supported Hispanic lawn care businesses. And now some of this may sound like stereotypes and things like that. And I don't want that to be the tone. I just want you to understand that black people have always supported the brown. Always. Black men have dated Mexican women, created black and Mexican babies. We've always loved your culture and supported your culture, despite knowing how some of you really feel about us. Despite knowing that a lot of Hispanic men don't like black men because Hispanic women love us. It's a lot of prejudice and biased behaviors that black people have encountered directly from brown people. Directly. And now that Donald Trump is president again, and he is escalating the deportation of people he thinks he shouldn't be in this country, and it's happening and it's disrupting families and causing all types of turmoil, we have so many brown people like, help us, black people, unite with us. And I'm just here to tell you, first off, how about a fucking apology? How about you start with an apology for not having black people's back historically since you've been in America? Because, and this is not to single out any Hispanic person, but historically, Hispanics have not joined our plight. And despite what the Hispanics who are being rounded up in a forcible manner are going through, it pales in comparison to what black people have been going through in America for 400 plus years. It pales in comparison. And I'm not here to have a struggle off because it's all fucked up. But you turned a blind eye this whole time. Now, there's been pockets of brown who've got on the front line with us and things like that, who have actively helped us to combat systemic racism. But for the most part, you didn't want no parts of this shit. And now that it's happening to you, now it's a crisis. What, you didn't believe it was real when black people were complaining about it? Or you just thought you were different than us and would never have to deal with it firsthand. I don't know, man. All I'm saying is start with an apology for how you haven't had our back and then ask for our help. Because I would definitely be more inclined to have your back if you acknowledge that even though you didn't have our back, that you finally get it now, that you finally understand it now. Black people are humble enough and are filled with enough love to get out there on the front line. I don't know if you know this, but historically, black people have no issues hopping in someone else's business and fighting someone else's fight. Like, we've done it because that's who we are, because God is in us. Like, we rarely turn a blind eye to any injustice. Rarely. We get in other people's business all the time because it's something in us that tells us, hey, we need to do something about this because it could happen to you. So with that being said, like, if the brown wants the black to unite, we gonna need a contract, bro. We gonna need y'all to sign something guaranteeing that when this shit is over and Trump is done and the work that we can do unified prevents your families from being dismantled, that you're gonna get your ass on the front line to help us to stop the police from killing us. That you're gonna get your ass on the front line to help us sway some of these political agendas. That you're gonna get your ass out there and have our back in the manner that you're requesting us. Because we're not finna help you, and then as soon as shit gets back to normal, you're back to taking from our culture and not adding value. We need y'all to start supporting some of these black businesses like we support y'all businesses. We need y'all to recognize that you not white. You in the same boat as us, but you got a better view because you have a native tongue. You have home countries that you can go to. You still have your native God and religious structure. None of that was stripped from you. You have a knowledge of self that we would never have because everything was taken from us. So if we get out there and help you, you motherfucking better have our back when this shit is over. You better be right there with us in the trenches when your plight has been resolved, so you can help us get our shit right. That's all I'm saying. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and go ahead and disagree or agree. I welcome it all. The incomparable Diesel Grease.
Hispanics voted for Trump because they thought they were white or close enough. Because colorism is real. Because proximity to whiteness feels like protection. Or I'm not like them felt like a shield, and for a while it worked. Some Hispanics who were born here and outside of the US felt closer to white people than to black people, even though history says otherwise. Haitian, Jamaican, Afro-Latino, different flags, same system. But instead of solidarity, there was distance. Instead of shared struggle, there was superiority. Instead of we, it became, at least I'm not black. That mindset told y'all If I vote right, if I marry right, if I stay quiet, I'll be exempt. Exempt from racism, exempt from discrimination, exempt from the boot. And for a long time, y'all lived under the radar because it hadn't reminded y'all of where you stood yet. But now the mask is off. Now immigration doesn't care how light you are. Now accents matter. Now last names matter again. Now papers matter again. And it's not confusion. It's a FAFO moment. Because whiteness isn't a club you get voted into. It's a gate, and you were never holding the key. Black people been trying to warn y'all. And this is not about gloating, it's about reality. Silence is not safety. And anti-blackness.
Now, I think if we're going to have a conversation about the perception of Black people refusing to join on the front lines with the Hispanic community or the Latino community during these protests and during this movement, and then, people saying, you're next, we were first. That's one. Secondly, and I say this as someone born and raised in LA, anybody knows the population of Latinos here is dominant. It is the dominant culture. So you don't actually need the numbers to have the power. And quite frankly, you've been had the power. You know that. So nonetheless, this brings me to my point. I don't think we're discussing enough, and it is the relations between the Black and brown community. We've always needed unification. We've been calling for unification forever. They love to bring up George Floyd. You had to watch someone get murdered on national television by a man in uniform before you decided to get up. And if we're gonna be real, a lot of the activism that we saw during that period was only popular culture. It is only because if you didn't participate, then you would be shamed for it. You would be seen as an op. That's the only reason why corporations got on board. And you see the exact thing that they did when they had the opportunity to jump ship on DEI and any of the things that came out of George Floyd. Now, with that being said, we're not going to act like this community within and of itself can't stand Black people. Black people have suffered more discrimination from the Hispanic community than damn near any other. It is the equivalent. It's white adjacent. And so if we're having this conversation, we are with you in the fight, because injustice is injustice, whether it's us, whether it's you, whether it's somebody else. That's not the question here. The call to action is that you want us to fight for you, and you were never fighting for us. And so now let's sit that on the table. Let's have that conversation, because if we're going to address the fact that you want us to participate in your fight, which we're okay with, but if you want us to go to the table, let's call out the fact that you have historically not respected us. Put yourself up and made, whether publicly or privately, proclamations about how you would never want your daughter to date a Black man. You call us mayates. Let's get into it. Quite frankly, while we're talking about this discourse in general, it is counterproductive to the real mission of the fact that white supremacy is the bottom line for it all. And y'all are mad at the wrong ones. You not even pointing the finger where they present with allyship, and they're really still an enemy, where they're quick to get on the front lines and get a photo op. But when it comes to job hiring, when it comes to housing opportunities, when it comes to opportunities that can get you grants, access to resources, expanding your community, expanding your wealth, you don't have access to those things. If we're really going to have the conversation, it needs to involve pointing the barrel of the gun where it belongs. And that's not on Black people. Baby, we don't even have the power. You got more power than us, and it's easier for you guys to present as us being the enemy instead of pointing that frustration, that anger, that hostility, that resentment where it belongs. If anything, if you really want to get into change, you're gonna have to be accountable to how you show up with us. You're going to have to be accountable for the historical beliefs and programming of your ancestors, your grandparents, great grandparents, some of the things that they say in their households, some of the things they say out in public, some of the ways in which they show up in the workplace, some of the ways in which they show up in the community. These are all things at play. It's not just about get out here, let's protest on this one moment in history. What are you doing on an everyday basis? Shows that you either support racism or you're against it. And that's the conversation that y'all are not really having like that. Black, brown, Asian, Latino, anybody. Whoever, what are you doing on a daily basis that shows that you either support or reject racism? I don't care who you are. Protest all you want. Y'all been protesting for centuries about everything. You know what I'm saying? When you gonna fuck shit up? When you gonna come together enough to really mobilize change? Permanent change, not temporary change. Their power in numbers.
Brown people, South Asian Americans, Desi Americans, we need to talk. I don't know how else we can have these conversations. I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to say you want to be white. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say you're a token. I get that that's so much more than that. But we need to have a conversation with everything happening with ICE. We need to talk. And first of all, I wish a bitch would. Get in my comments, get in my DMs, tell me I'm not Indian. Okay, tell me I'm not Indian, bitch. Hello? Hello? Do you not see what I see? First of all, if I was an Indian bitch, would I have these delicate, dainty little ankles that are disproportionately smaller than the rest of my body? Would I have that? If I wasn't Indian, if I wasn't Gujarati, would I have this fucking hairline since my 21st birthday? Huh? Yeah, 50% chance, bitch, 50% chance. I'm Indian. I'm Indian American. I know who I am. Let's talk about what it means to be Indian American for a second. We, as Indian Americans, we don't have a culture. Let's have that conversation for a second. We have not been here long enough to have developed a culture. We have not been here for generations. Some of us have, some of us have. But we are currently hovering in a situation where it's like, for those of us millennials, I'm 31, turning 32 later this month. When I was younger, I would say 80 to 90% of us, if not more, were first generation. Our parents were born in South Asia, in India, wherever else. We were born here. We didn't have generations of other people like us, right? Of Indian Americans, South Asian Americans, that we could build something from. So naturally, we are influenced by the people around us. And it's really just a couple directions we could go in, right? You had those brown kids, usually the guys that grew up heavy into rap music, hip hop, playing basketball, watching basketball, streetwear, athletic, like all kinds of elements of Black culture, right? But then you don't know how to appreciate other people's culture. So some of y'all became culture vultures, and we'll talk about that in a separate conversation. Then we have those of us, me included. My parents put me in a shitty ass school that was all white people though. It was the only private school in bumfuck West Georgia. Everyone I grew up with was white. That heavily influenced me, yes. And I've talked about this on my platform before. I was such a fucking model minority back in the day. Like my anti-blackness, my anti-brownness, that shit was so deep in me. And I've gone on my own journey, and that's my thing. I'm not saying you have to be like me. You don't. You can be whoever the fuck you want. Now let's talk about the aunties and uncles. Let's talk about the immigrants, right? My parents are included in that. Come to this country chasing the American dream, right? My parents were not doctors and lawyers and engineers back in India. They came over here as early as they could, trying to get a better life for their kids. I come from the motels, the hotels, the gas stations. That's my clan. But so many, I'm seeing this time and time again with so many of my aunties and uncles. I'm so happy my sister and I were able to put in the work. Yeah. Some of you bitches are not putting in the work with your fucking parents, and it shows. To show my parents that just because you came here, you worked your ass off, you put your head down. My parents are good now. They're retired. They are happy. They are able to live a life that they had once only dreamed of. And I am 99% positive that when it comes to like financial stability, me and my sister are going to be better than my parents were. We are set up. And I love my parents for that. But I want you all to realize that just because you're coming here and you're pouring into your kids and you're turning them into the doctors and lawyers and engineers that you guys didn't get to be, that you didn't have the chance to be, that you didn't have the opportunity to be, it's not elevating them to a class that puts them above anything that can go wrong, especially with this administration, especially with ICE. I need y'all to know that. We have the Dinesh D'Souza's, we have the Bobby Jindals, we have the Cash Patels, and we have all these bitches getting in these positions politically that are fucking so much shit up for the rest of us. The shit that's happening with ICE right now, it can be happening to anybody. You are not exempt from any of this. It's so easy for us. You guys see like the videos I make. I travel every week. I drink $40 worth of smoothies on my way to the airport yesterday. But do I think for a second that separates me from anything, from any other people of color, from anything going on? ICE aside, you don't think that any of these cities I go to fucking podunk cities all over this country to giant warehouses. You don't think there's people in every single one of these warehouses looking at me like, why the fuck am I in this country taking their jobs? Huh? I can get on here and I can read one of you bitches for filth. I'm very good at it. It's what I do. I've been training for that moment my entire life. It's effortless, okay? Fatality, bitch. But when are we gonna have these conversations with one another that we can't just be setting this shit to the side? We can't just be pretending shit's not happening to other people, to our own people. There are plenty of brown people just like us, because y'all don't want to act like Pakistani people are like us. Y'all don't want to act like Bengali people are like us. Y'all don't want to act like the rest of South Asians are like us. We all have our differences. We all have our beautiful cultures. But here, we are all the same. No one can tell the difference. I hate to break it to you. So many of you brown people, you love to be like, oh no, we're coming here the right way. Zarna Garg and Zarna Garg's daughter, we're doctors and lawyers and engineers. We're contributing. I didn't know a single doctor, lawyer, engineer in my parents' generation growing up, not in their immediate friend group, not of my parents. They were still contributing to society. They were still doing everything they could. There are so many immigrants that come here that don't have a community, that don't have a village that they can lean on to stay with until they can buy their first gas station, until they can then provide for their families. But y'all don't want to talk about those brown people. Y'all don't want to act like they're part of our community. Y'all want to otherize them. And then look at what fucking happens, huh? Look at what happens.
Wow. Now more than ever, we need black and brown unity. I mean, we need unity of all types of people, of course, but we really need black and brown unity. Some black folks and some Latinos going at each other, this shit ain't gonna work. This regime intends to do us all harm. We are the fucking enemy. I've said it before, our skin is our sin. And that includes Latinos that no matter what your skin color is, this regime intends to harm us all. We need to come together. We're gonna need each other. What they do to one community, they will do to the other community. What they'll do to the other community, they'll do to that other community. So, brothers and sisters, black and brown unity, we need it now more than ever.
Anyways, welcome back, guys, and you guys have literally seen all of that video that I've rolled out for you guys. It is now that these people want to unite. It is now that these people realize that at the end of the day, black people are important. It is now that these people realize that they can literally not do without black Americans to be precise. It is now that these folks literally realize that the only community that can come to their rescue are black Americans. It is now that these people now realize that, oh, black Americans are no longer lazy. They're not lazy. They can do whatsoever they want to do, except they don't want to do it. But years, centuries, a lot of them has literally thought, like one of the clips that I rolled out said, a lot of them have literally thought that black Americans do not have unity. It is a waste of time to even invest your money where black Americans are. So now they are seeing the importance of black Americans because they are getting whooped. They are getting deported. They are getting what they literally signed up for. You know, when black Americans were literally saying this and were literally telling them that do not vote for this person, this is the reason why we need to vote for this person, a lot of them were like, oh, you're just saying it because you are black, or no problem, we've heard you, we're not going to do that. But at the end of the day, they went and do what is in their mind. A lot of them rose up, composed song, make a lot of us that are seeing the future make us look stupid. But I'm happy that right now they're now running to those people that their thoughts never had sense. They're now running to those people that their thoughts can never help them. They're now running to those people that at the end of the day, they never had value for. Because let's just be sincere. Every single thing that the orange man is doing, the orange man said it. He said he was going to impute tariffs. He said he was going to bounce back on his deportation level. He said he was going to ban a lot of countries from entering the US. He said a lot of people are going to be deported, a lot of illegal immigrants. And it baffles me that 60% or to 70% of them knew that they were illegal, or knew that either their parents are illegal or one or two things had led to their friends and family being illegal. They still choose to abandon black community. They still choose not to listen. And now that black Americans are sitting back, you want them to come out? You want them to really come out? You want them to speak? You want them to talk on your behalf? For you that has never had any respect for them? For you that has never valued them? For you, that at the end of the day, in fact, if you are given all of the opportunity and they still tell you over and over again, choose who you want to be with, you are literally going to choose white folks, because at the end of the day, you think proximity to whiteness is actually white. Wake up. The deportation is hitting hard, and it continue to hit hard. And there is no black American that is coming to your rescue. Do not expect them to come for your protest. In fact, they are not even ready to do that. Nobody stood up one day to announce that, hello, black Americans, nobody should come out, we black. They never did that. They made a decision individually. It means their ancestors is working on their behalf, is working for their good. And I respect that. In fact, 100%. I wish none of these black Americans will even use their mouth and join. I saw a particular video where someone literally said that, oh, does that mean that we should use the sins of one Latino to visit the other Latinos? That is how the person was literally explaining that, okay, actually some Latinos also voted for, some Latinos vote, yes, okay, the person explained, and the person said, yes, Latinos voted for Trump, but there are also some Latinos that never voted for Trump. So should we use the sins of those ones that voted for Trump on those ones that didn't vote? It is the same thing. Because even the Bible said the sins of the father shall visit their children, not even up to the first, second, third, to even the fifth generation. So it's not like a new thing. So if it's the sins of one person is visiting all of them, it's fine. Because I can tell you that we've seen videos here where these people will literally call black Americans lazy. I'm saying it including Africans. Oh. So if they're even deporting a lot of Africans, I don't even have anything to say about that. In fact, I will so be happy. That's why when it came to Somalia, did you see me support Somalia? I will never do that. Because at the end of the day, you people have literally looked down, talk down on black Americans, thinking that proximity to whiteness, where are your white friends? Why are they not coming to save you? Why are they not coming to be like, no, they are my friends. Please don't do that. Eyes, don't do that to them. Some of your white friends are even the ones that will pick up their phone and call Eyes and tell Eyes, this my friend is illegal immigrant. She's in so location, go grab her. And that is what suits you. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section. Credit belongs to the original creator of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. And if you haven't subscribed, please do it. Subscribe, like the video, drop me a comment, and lastly, do not forget to share. And for disclaimers, this is just for educational purposes only, not to come here and ruffle on anyone's shoulder, right? And yes, thank you so much for staying stick and hook with me to the end of this video. With that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be simple, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah. I will vote for Donald Trump.